Most agents are scared to death to get on camera, so I believe if we can come up with a streamlined way to make them an AI avatar that can make videos.
You just got to focus on a lot of different aspects of it. It's not just like, people are tired of the plain Jane real estate.
That competitiveness, like, you know what I mean? That, like you said, that dog in you. I think that goes so far in life and is a great trait to have.
It was probably one of the first moments I was really proud of myself. I was like, damn, like, I can't believe I finished this. Because there's a lot of people that quit.
When you talk about hard money, there may be people listening to Ethan that don't even know what that means.
I don't want to do the same real estate shit every day and dealing with everybody's problems. Like, yeah. I want to be like, what's enjoyable to me? And that's like content creation and like, how can I do this?
Hey guys, it's Coach Carroll. Welcome to another episode of the Sales Factory. This one's in person. Pretty excited about this thing. I got my man Ethan Adams in the building. If you guys haven't checked out our first episode we did a while back, gosh, that was probably a couple of years ago, I think. Yeah. It's on coachcarroll.com/podcast. You guys can go check that out. I'm not sure. We'll drop in the show notes what episode, but my man. Thanks for coming in person, bro. I'm excited about this, and we got a little bourbon poured up, you know, a little after hours podcast edition. But for the people that haven't maybe checked out the other episode, give them a quick little bio of who you are, what you do, with, you know, obviously being a real estate agent, things like that. So give the guest a little 411 on Ethan Adams.
Yeah. So born and raised here in Louisville, Kentucky, real estate agent. Randomly got into real estate, and I'm an old football player that just still likes competing, and now into like more of the entrepreneurial real estate investing side, as well as trying to be the #1 real estate agent in the state of Kentucky.
Oh, man, I love that. You know, we talked about a lot the first time around about how you're using social media and things like that, but you also just got back from a fitness contest or something, competition. Yes. Like, what was this, like the new CrossFit or something, man? Like, what's
Dude, so I just found out. So it was actually originated over in Europe.
Okay.
So it's been like really like popular over there. So it is like, I like to sum it up as CrossFit without all the shit that pretty much kills your shoulders.
I'm with you on that.
So you do like 5 miles in 8 different workouts. So we competed in the doubles tournament with my main man, Tyler Jenkins.
Yeah.
And we trained for about 6 months, and we did pretty well. We were like a little bit above average. We almost were in the top 25%, so that's what we're really shooting for. So we're actually, it absolutely crushed me. So I was like, I'm 260 pounds, like running this. I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I had a lot of those thoughts through my head, but I was like obsessed with it. Cause like one thing, like I always say it, like, and then like their slogan really in Hyrox is never stop competing. And that was one thing that I always think like is a daily thing for me. And I'm like, damn, like I locked into it. So we're already signed up for Houston. That's like mid-March. So I got like another 5 months of training. So I'm going to take off.
Very cool.
I'm eating like shit for probably the next week, and then I'm going to be all right. Right back to it. So,
and so is it like a circuit? What are like the contests, like the different?
Yes. So you run a 1/7 of a mile, and then you do like a workout. So it was like 1/7 of a mile, and then you do like the skier. So you do 1,000 meters there, run a 1/7 of a mile, and then you're
I'm gonna clip that. That's gonna be a social media clip right there. Sorry, 1/7 of the mile, and then you do the skier.
So it's like, yeah, so that's what you're doing, and it's like the hard part of just like really pushing yourself to like a new limit. Like the workouts were simple, but it was just, hey, like how can you like exert yourself to really just keep going?
Okay.
That was like the thing, and I'm a big guy. I've never really ran 5 miles until like I had to do this, and being in a race was actually really cool. So we want to see how far we could push it.
Yeah. What was the like most difficult one, like out of all the little?
It was probably the 88 yards of burpees and then running.
88 yards? You
like a football, like pretty much a football field of burpee broad jumps. And
oh my god.
Yeah. And then like I wanted to throw up probably the second round, and it was very interesting.
So you got to do so it's circuits. So you go through it multiple times.
Dude, you're like 1/7 of a mile, you're doing a 1,000-meter row, 1/7 of a mile, do a 1,000-meter ski, 1/7 of a mile, then you're burpee broad jump, 88 yards, 1/7 of a mile, then you're doing like 50 yards of lunges, 1/7 of a mile, and then you're doing, farmer carries, 1/7 of a mile, and then you're doing like 100 wall balls. So it's like really.
Oh my god, dude! And there's no break in between that, right? Because it's like a time trial. Like you're trying to get just like if you're running a race or something.
Yeah, so I'm like, I was really, it was probably one of the first moments I was really proud of myself. Nice. I was like, damn. I was like, I can't believe I finished this. Because there's a lot of people that quit.
They just like tap out in the middle of it, like an Ironman or something like that would be.
Like, nah, I'm done.
Wow.
So it was in Chicago, and it was just the most beautiful women in one room I've ever seen. I was like, I got to keep going to these.
Oh, shit.
So it was very cool. It was great to compete again because I'm an old football player. So just like the adrenaline rush, like the endorphins when you're hitting that last circuit was just like your whole body just took over, and you could really – it was more mental than anything. I'll tell you, like the workouts really aren't the hard part. It was just the mental capacity to be like, hey, we got to keep going.
Keep pushing yourself.
Yeah.
And that's like that in business too, though, right? Like, 100%. I mean, you got to wake up on days that you don't feel like it and still show up and perform.
You got to be a dog, like every day. Like entrepreneurial wise, like I don't want to fucking get up.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I was like, even like doing this Hyrox shit, like I was like, man, I really don't want to run. Like I hate running, and I was able to compete and do that, and that was like really fulfilling. And I can't wait because I want to do another doubles with Tyler, and then we're gonna go off. I'll do a single probably this time next year.
Okay,
I'll probably go back to Chicago and try competing like by myself and doing it.
That's cool, man. Hell yeah! Always love hearing about cool things like that.
Yeah.
I did a Spartan. Cheers, by the way.
There we go, baby.
Ah, yes. Little Weller there. So, I did a Spartan race back in the day, like the Spartan.
Is it like American Gladiator? What is
almost like the outdoor one where you have to do all the obstacles and shit. And I remember like being at the end, and there's like this guy that's got like the American Gladiator, like, you know, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, like big pad stick, right? And I'm like, oh, and everybody's like trying to juke around him and shit. And I just got done running like 2.5 miles and like uphill sandbags and burpees. I'm like, I'm truck sticking this fucking guy. Like you're the only thing between me and the finish line. And I did, dude. I ran right at him. His eyes got real big, and I mean, I just boom. Well, he fell down. He got back up. And it's like, yeah, man. It's like
keep going.
But that competitiveness, like, you know what I mean? That like you said, that dog in you.
Yeah.
I think that goes so far in life and is a great trait to have. It can get you in trouble sometimes. Sometimes you can be a little too competitive. I've definitely probably burnt some bridges in my day of being a little too competitive, but you know, you got to take the good with the bad, I guess.
You do. And I mean, like, that's what I was like. I tell people all the time, it's not really about, like, in real estate, like, a lot of realtors are going for like the money aspect of it. And like, I'm a realtor that's just like, wow, like, I really don't give a shit about the money. I'm more like, I want to be the number one guy.
And the money will take care of itself if you get to that position, right?
My mentor, that's what he told me when I was first in the game. It was just like, I was really focused about like, okay, like, you can make good money at this. Like, how much money you want to make? Like, and I'm like, fuck, forget that, dude. I'm like, why don't I just shoot to be the best realtor in the state of Kentucky? And I've constantly been like in the top 5, top 10, something like that. But I'm like, I'm not number one yet. So I'm like, I'm not even keeping that on tab yet. So I'm like, as soon as I'm number one, I think I was like number 2, what was it, last year?
What's it take to be number one? Volume? Like, does it go by units or?
It's volume. I'm like beating everybody in units, but it's just like volume wise. This is where I'm trying to keep up with. And I tell people all the time, like, there's a lot of great people I've talked to here. And I'm like, man, I'm really like, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with my business because I'm like, I sell more units than like most people. But I'm like, my volume's not there. And they're like, you know, I'm 27. So it's like still trying to take that and being like, all right, I got to be a little patient.
Early in the game, man.
Like,
early in the game.
I'm not patient though. I was like, I feel like, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice and do a lot more than a lot of people. So it's just, I want it now, but it's not there.
I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, it takes a while to learn that. And, you know, that I was just walking back. We just did mid-year like performance evals yesterday with all the team members, or not mid-year. Jeez, it's the end of the year. End of the year performance evals with the team. And you know, one thing that I've realized is you can't grow people in a quarter. Like it's easy to make quarterly business goals and to like set up like objectives and things to chase for what I call 90-day sprints. Yeah. And it's cool to build a business in 90-day sprints. But you also don't build a business in 90 days. And so, like, that patience, man, like having that long-term vision. There's a podcast called The Acquired Podcast. And so they talk about, like, all these big businesses or long podcasts. But they just had Zucks on at the JP Morgan Forum. And he was doing this interview and he was talking about like the glasses, right? Like their Meta glasses they have, they're like the Ray-Ban glasses. And these glasses were like a 10 or 15 year project for them. Like they're like, and I'm like, dude, I don't have a 15-year goal. Like the commitment and the patience that it takes to like say, okay, we're not going to achieve this thing for 10 or 15 years. But what he said, he's like, well, I'm a young guy in business, so like I can set these types of goals because I'm not 80, right? And so I think while it's hard for young hustlers like us to have that patience and say, hey, it's coming, be patient. I think sometimes like we look over the fact that it's like, hey, I can have a 20-year goal when most of these guys can't, right?
Yeah, and that's what the Nipsey hustle really comes out. It's like it's a marathon, it's not a sprint.
Yep.
So that's the really tough part about business, though. And I'm like, okay, Ethan, like, stay consistent. And that's like the thing with Hyrox. When we were talking about it, it was a consistency to it. We have to stay consistent with our run. We got to stay consistent with our reps. And then when we were consistent with that, we had results.
Yeah.
So that's where like I've taken that where it's like we were talking about social media. It's like I've been consistent for 5 years. And now I'm finally seeing something like in return.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, but you know, it's just mine has to keep spinning.
How do people find you on Instagram? Because you're one of the best agents that I've seen as far as making content in Louisville. Yeah. And I know we've done some stuff together, and it's like it's cool to see somebody like understand the value of social. And I think it's because you're younger, right?
Yeah,
But like, how do people find your Instagram?
eadams97_ realtor.
Yeah, like the longest Instagram handle ever.
Like, come on, I could be like Ethan John Adams #2. No.
Yeah, I know, right? There's a guy that's got at Coach Carroll, and there's nothing. It's like blank. And like I have a reminder in my calendar. I DM that guy every single year, and I'm like, hey, can I buy your Instagram? Hey, can I buy your Instagram? And it's like he has like 8 followers, or he's like following 8 people, and I've DM'd all them like, hey, do you know who owns this account? Like I'll buy it from him because it's like DJ_Carroll. It's like,
I got this for you.
Yeah, right. It's like, damn, man. No, but I mean, you do a great job, man, and so you guys can go check it out. There's a lot of like viral videos. The McDonald's one is still my favorite. Like, hey, what can I get you for today? It's like you got any of them 3 2s? It's like, nah, 2 1's all I got for you. It's like
that was a good one. Because when my video guys were like, I was like, what if buying a house was like ordering a cheeseburger from McDonald's? And they were like, I was like, can you make it look like I'm in a drive-thru? They're like, yeah. And like when AI really started popping, it was crazy how I could be in a studio just like this and like do some crazy shit with these backgrounds.
Yeah, man.
And it's very interesting, and it's pushing limits, I think, where like, because I'll tell you, like, the hard part now about creating content is getting approvals from people to like, or it's like letting people be able to like, I couldn't sit in a drive-thru and make that.
No.
And be like, hey, Mr. McDonald's, man. I want to make
Mr.
this
McDonald's, man.
I was like, I want you to like let me shoot this video, and you got to act, and you got to go along with it. He's gonna be like, "What the?"
Yeah. Can you shut your drive-through down for 15 minutes so I can get this Instagram real quick?
Be like, let me go to McDonald's higher ups. So it's like very tough on that aspect of it, but creative. And I can't say that I'm like the main person who's over here directing this, but having video people that are like you can go back and forth with on the creative side of it. Yeah, that's like the key with like my team is like Noah and Colin. They're my guys, and they literally are like, yeah, we can push the limit. We can do this.
Yeah.
And it's like we're going to go to Buffalo Trace, and we got the approval process going with that, and just doing like a couple things where it's like, we're trying to show off what Kentucky offers.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing with like my business is I'm very hyper local, and I'm not really trying to be like nationwide. I'm really like, let's focus on how can I be the best real estate agent in Kentucky. And that's showing off what we have to offer. If that's Bourbon, if it's Louisville City, I don't really like them because they were like over here like, dude, you got to go over here like 10 grand here and 10 grand here. I'm like, God damn, dude, I'm just trying to shoot a video. Like I'm promoting you. And
trying to get in them pockets.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, come on.
Hey man, all them lights, have you seen that big? So if you guys don't know, Lou City is the soccer team here, but like they built this stadium, but the way that they tilt, like the way they build it, it's like a 3/4 away, and then one end's open, but because the sun sets this way, they have these like big giant light systems.
So
it's
that's
like
what they do.
Yeah, that's why they need your money, bro.
I'm like, what's going on down there?
So they had like, so the only reason I know this is because our exterior cleaning company, Easy Pro, we did the post construction cleanup there, and so it was like a 6-figure project. And I'm like asking the construction guys, I'm like, the hell's that big GE system that they rolled out? And they're like, oh, that's artificial light. I'm like, huh? So it's like an outdoor greenhouse, basically, that on one side of the field, like they have to like keep it lit because the sun doesn't get enough. And then in the wintertime, because I learned so much about soccer. I didn't know I'm a football player like you. It's the pitch is what it's called, right? In soccer, they don't call it a field. It's the pitch. And so it's like, the last thing you want is like a high dollar soccer player to like hit a little hole and like roll his ankle or something, right? And so it's like they spent millions of dollars to like get that field in like tip top shape. So that's why they need all that money from you, bro.
Man, that's what I was wondering. I was like, man, I was just like, and that was the thing where like being a content creator is like, okay, how can I get creative, do this? But then it's like having those barriers of like, okay, we got approval processes. We can't ask this. It's like I'm almost like trying to ask the NFL to shoot a video. It's
right.
And that's what my video team, they do. They've worked with like the NFL and different people, and like the approval process is just so tough. And I'm like, man, I ain't got time all day to chase this. And
so you guys are trying to really like, your strategy is like, hey, let me feature Kentucky. That way, like maybe somebody finds this if they're looking if like, because if like a
community is key.
Oh, okay.
Community is key. Like, and that's what I've done around towns.
Mm-hmm. I've seen those. Yep.
So those have honestly continued to make me like a local celebrity almost. Because it's like, okay, like I was at Speedway, dude, and people are like, you're the food reviewer. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, no, I'm a real estate agent, but yeah. And like people really like, if you are like on YouTube, like you can start seeing a lot of our videos pop up, and then like we can constantly do them, and that's the consistency to it. Like we started off as like almost a joke, and then now it's like people are requesting them.
So like restaurants want you to come now, right?
Yeah.
And so for those of you guys that aren't aware, Ethan has this skit, for lack of a segment that he does with Tyler, who's a mutual friend as well. That's actually, you guys probably caught my live a couple weeks back where I was talking about the all-in-one mortgage that I did with him, which is game changer. But they'll do this like segment where it's like all around town, right? Around town. Okay. Yeah. And then they're like going into restaurants and different like eateries and things like that, and like kind of ordering food, and they each have it, and so it's almost like a food vlog, right? Yeah. And so now you've started to get a little traction with that. Now restaurants are like, hey,
can you do this?
Why don't you come check it out over here? Yeah. Isn't that crazy,
It's
man?
cool. It's really been cool. And that's like the main thing is like when you're focusing on like different content creations for like real estate purposes, it's like, okay, like when you're looking at what's going on real estate wise, people want to know about the neighborhood. They want to know about the schools. They want to know about what's around there. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what is around town?
Right.
And that's where like we came up with this segment, and it's been great.
That's cool, man.
But that's where it's like I said, we're very hyper local, and it's been interesting.
I love how you take a bunch of different approaches with your social media. Meanwhile, like I'm over here and I'm like trying to talk Bob, this like 68-year-old business owner, into like making a Facebook page. And it's like, in 2016, I knew we were early, like when we started the business, but like I figured by like 2020 we'd be good, right? Like especially then COVID hit, and I'm like, everybody's gonna get it because like everybody's at home on their phone, and it's like it's still, dude, like just the slow adopters. And I was on with Gary Vee a while back, and I was like, hey, he's like, I got no time to convince anybody anymore. Like I've been doing it for 10 years. Like if they don't get it, they don't get it. The 27-year-old real estate agent is going to come take over. And then that top guy is going to be like, well, what the fuck happened? Where did Ethan just come from? And it's like, bitch, food reviews, right? Like, and it's those little things that has nothing to do with real estate, but get your brand in front of people so that they know that, hey, you don't give a shit if they're like, hey, I'm the food reviewer. Like, sure. You want to buy a house? Like, it's
as long as you know me.
Exactly. Yeah. I say that all the time. People can't do business with you if they don't know who you are.
Yeah. And
so
that's like
cool,
right
man.
on the money.
That's cool.
Dude, that's where it's like, you just got to focus on a lot of different aspects of it. It's not just like, people are tired of the plain Jane real estate. Like, I can tell you, like, how many people have been consistent now and are like, hey, Ethan, I've been doing videos, but it's like, I'm not getting no traction. It's like, well, what are you doing differently than everybody else?
Yeah.
And it's like, even with the social media aspect of it, it was like, okay, like, how can I make this different than everybody else? And it's like, of course, like, I can give you the bullshit authentic, be authentic. Be you.
Be you, yeah.
But how many people are scared to be themselves now?
We just did I won't put them on blast. We just did a lunch and learn today, and literally the broker is like, well, how do you get comfortable like putting yourself on camera? And I'm like, why are you uncomfortable putting yourself on camera? Yeah. And he's quiet for a second. I'm like, it's because the haters. You're afraid someone will be in their comments and say something. It's like, this isn't high school anymore, man. Like, grow up, you know? And it's like, you also have to understand that, like, to take your business to a different level, you got to go to a different level, right? Like, I often say that the desks in first grade are little for a reason. Yeah. Like, you ain't supposed to stay there, right? Like, you're supposed to level up in the game. And so I think a lot of times they get so worried about what other people are going to think, what other people are going to say. But I also love the saying, timid salespeople have skinny kids. So,
yeah, you can tell I'm eating.
You eating, dog? You eating?
I'm a plumber son, baby.
I love it, man. Well, talk to me. Like, where do you see like the real estate? Like, it's been a couple. I mean, I think the first time we talked, I was still living in Lake Forest, so that was got to be like 2020, 2021 maybe. Yeah. And, you know, the market was hot and stuff, and so, like, we've seen rates kind of go up. They've come back down a little bit, but you said you before we got on air, you were like, yeah, everybody's like, it's tough out there. I was like, my fucking phone rings every day. Like, and so talk to me about what you're seeing overall as a market, but then also, like, why do you think like your phone is still ringing as well? So start with the market overview of like what that's looking like right now.
So the market has officially came into a normalized market.
Okay.
When you look at homes,
what's that mean?
And a normalized market was sitting at 60 to 90 days on listings.
Okay.
So it's still a seller's market, but it's harder for sellers to sell. So it's like it's very tough for like sellers to like really understand that. Mm-hmm. But it's like you still have the upper hand. It's just we're going to have to do a little bit more to get this house sold. And that's going to be consistency with marketing. It's going to be, you know, getting that exposure to it, having those open houses, and being understanding that you're going to have to give a little. And it's like, okay, where can we price it to where we're going to be at that market value, but stay strategic when it comes to those price drops, as well as how can we consistently put that house back in front of people. And those are things that I work on daily. How can I get this out more? If that's going to Facebook and maybe throwing a little money on the ad side of it, if it's going and doing different videos, maybe it's like you do a video on the house, then you're like, okay, now I have to do a video on the neighborhood, and then you can correspond that house back into that video of the neighborhood. It's like doing different things like that where it's like, I was like doing one where it's like, okay, like I'm recently coming out with this one because I'm having a tough time selling it. And it's like, now I'm sitting with the sellers, interviewing the seller saying, what was your favorite thing about this house? And it's like, I've done a video on the house. I've done a video on the neighborhood. Now I'm doing a video with the owners.
Oh.
So it's like, how can I keep people in front of me? Like, what are they talking about? And then like visiting that house back and having consistency. It's crazy. Open houses because of like the changes with the commissions and the buyer's agency and things that happened this past year with the NAR settlement.
Yeah. That's like the commission thing, right? It's like agents like run around like their head. Like, oh my god, the settlement thing. It's like, oh yeah, what happened? Like, I don't really know, but I'm just supposed to be freaking the fuck out because like everybody said freak the fuck out. Like,
dude, there's two changes that have happened. You've always had open negotiations with commissions.
Absolutely. There's a reason why there's a line on that contract you fill in.
Yes. And people did not understand that. So they go, now you don't have to pay. No. There's this, you now have been brought to your attention that, yes, it is still negotiable.
Yep.
But now it's like, okay, now buyer's agents have to have that tour agreement. They have to have that buyer agency signed before you even tour a house. So that was one change. And then now they're not marketed to the agents on how much commission is being paid to you. So it's like we have a couple more hoops to jump through, but I'll tell you, real estate agents are getting paid more now than they were.
Yeah, the average price of a house has went up like 32% in the last like 5 years. It's crazy.
But it's even these discount brokers. So now like I guess I can't really name drop, but screw it. They do it themselves. Edlin and Edlin, it was like they used to just pay 2%, 2.5%. Well, now it's like if you're not selling your house, I'll come in here with a good offer, but you got to pay me 3%. It's like, no. We're not going to do that. We're going to do 2%. Okay, well, I'll come back at you. I'm going to do 2.5%. And then the buyer's like, I'm like, and if you have that relationship with your buyer, they're going to understand you've been working your ass off for me.
Yeah.
And they understand that value.
Yeah.
So I've been getting paid more with the change. And I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
This is mind blown.
Take out one of the bank, baby.
It's like, how can you like? And it's like you have to set value and you have to set that work ethic. and show people I'm working my ass off for you.
Yeah, and I did a lunch and learn at a brokerage. It's been about a month ago, and I said, what are problems that you guys are having? Because I teach this strategy, PPQ, and the listeners and watchers can use this, right? Problem, product, question. Problem, product, question. You literally can just make your whole social media platform on that. What's a problem your customers face, right? That you can talk about. What's a problem, a product, or a question, right? It's like you can just rinse and repeat. And so I said, what's a problem you guys are facing? I was like, the buyer commission changes. I was like, cool. Yeah, about the buyer agreement, I understand. But what's the problem? Well, our commissions is all jacked up and stuff. I said, well, cool. Well, I mean, maybe you don't earn it. Maybe you don't deserve 3%. And the guy kind of looked at me funny. I was like, what if I came to you and I said, hey, we got an accepted offer, and I'm just going to offer a full asking price. I asked him, I said, why do you deserve your commission? He said, well, because we negotiate. I said, well, I'm going to offer full asking price. There will be no negotiation. Why am I still paying you? Yeah. And he was like, I said, bro, you better work on that. If you don't know the value that you bring to the table, you're going to struggle, man, in the marketplace. And so, it's cool. You're a student of your craft. I see that in talking to you and, understanding this. The number of agents right now that are in the real estate space that, just know that there was a settlement and there was, some changes, and that's as far as they know. They haven't even taken the time to go look into it. I could probably tie back multiple things of, hey, that's probably why you're not in the top 10% of your brokerage. You just don't pay attention, know?
And that's what you do have to, it's constantly learning in this business.
In any business, right? I mean, it's
exactly.
That's head on a swivel, man. That's one of my favorite sayings from football that applies in life is keep your head on a swivel or you're going to get your block knocked off.
You can. And that's why I'm you got to keep going. And it's adapting. It's because I was I'm trying to learn different changes and how can I get more exposure? Zillow's calling me, hey, you want to be the listing agent where it's we can get more exposure to your listing? And I'm man, let me listen to it. And then it's well, it just seems like it's just a money grab now because it's you're just looking to try promoting that listing, but it's I don't know. I said, I didn't see the value in that. And it's I've tried a couple things, but I'm mostly an organic guy. My overhead's very low.
Yeah.
I'm able to do a lot more cooler shit than I think than a lot of people.
Yeah. We've talked about how lean you operate.
I mean, yeah, I don't really have too much cost. Even I started this painting company, and I literally was how can I not have a ton of overhead? Because people are are you ever scared of you losing money? And I said, no, because they buy the paint. I bring the labor.
It's nothing to lose on.
I mean, I have material, but I'm how can I lose? And I'm I kind of know where we're going to be at, where the market rate is.
Yeah.
And I know that just with real estate, what's the market rate? What's it going to take? And I'm sure even when it came to power washing for you, it's what's the market rate? What can I bring? And how can I be better?
Yeah. Yeah. I always love that because there's always going to be somebody cheaper. There's always going to be somebody more expensive. Yeah. Right. But at the same time, I always love when customers oh, that sounds expensive. My comeback would be, that sounds expensive compared to what?
Yeah.
What are we comparing to, right? You got another quote? Let's look at it. Let's compare apples to apples. I don't know. It seems like a lot. Well, gas is a lot, bread is a lot, milk is a lot. What are we talking about here, right? And so I think there's workarounds on that too. Let's talk about the painting company for a bit too, because I think this is interesting that you kind of birthed this out of necessity, right?
Yes.
People were just asking you for painting stuff, or what?
I had rentals, and I'm
okay.
I'm over here I see quotes from I tried getting a rental painted, and it was $400 to $3,000, and I was
quite the range.
I'm what the hell? And then I'm okay, and then most painters were crackheads, and I'm okay. I'm okay, you got to deal with some bullshit. It takes a certain person. And I'm I understand.
Rentals painted, air compressor's gone.
Yeah. Right? And I'm how can I do this? And I had a group of women that I started that I was they came in, painted my duplex, and we were in the range of $5,000 to $10,000 to paint it.
Mm.
They came through, and they're you pay us on a daily basis, and it ended up coming out to $2,000. And I'm I'm going to make some money. And I'm
what are you doing next Thursday?
Yeah. And I'm okay, they started painting more of mine and my partner's stuff, and I'm okay, where can we go with this? And then I'm okay, I'm a real estate agent. I sit down with so many people who have bright purple rooms, neon green, and
they're we're ready to list it.
Yeah,
just put the sign out front.
It's ready. And I'm hang on. And it's how can you bring a good product, but as well being in control of it and having that like service to service business where it's like, okay, I'm already in the real estate service business. And it's like, oh, you need a painter? Okay, like now I can paint it. Now, if you can't pay for it, now how about we just put it on the backside? And it was like, okay, now
pay at closing.
Now I'm making this so easy for them. They're like, I have to do it.
Yeah.
So I just listened to Junior Bridgman. He was talking about it. And I was trying to take a lot of things from his business aspect of it. First thing he said, this was a mic drop. He said, people with money don't have to act like they got money. And I said, wow. And I said, this guy's worth like $1 billion. And I'm like, and then the next thing he was talking about is he said, all my employees, when I started, he said, I knew their name and I knew something about them. And that's what I actually felt that because I'm like, I try bringing that consistency with my clients. It's like, okay, I know who they are. I know their wife's name. I know their girlfriend's name. I know something about what they're going on.
Hopefully not the wife and the girlfriend at the same time.
Whichever. I'm a household favorite here.
We could get you the family pad and we get you a little spot somewhere over here for your girl.
I swear, I could tell you stories.
I'm sure you could.
What in the world? I said, I didn't know this was true. But that's where I was like, knowing something about them and actually taking the time to actually care. That was a thing where it said, Junior Bridgman even, he was talking about how like he had a couple like Wendy's that were very like not successful. He said the employees did not care. And now I brought that to my painting company and just making sure I care. Like I'm learning. Now, I hope I don't get canceled for this, but a lot of my painters are Hispanic. Yeah. They're Cuban women, a lot of them. But then I even am starting to take Spanish just because I'm like, hey, like instead of Google Translate, how much more would it be effective to them? Because I told them, I said, I'm trying. And they know. And they say, I'm trying to. And I'm like, and I really like that because I want to make sure that they're taken care of. And we're doing jobs and we've transitioned to like how it's going to be beneficial for them as well as us. And I'm staying consistent with the business and I have good relationships around the city and as well constantly posting on social media. I'm not doing no marketing except I'm posting on social media. I'm going to try getting a truck because that's going to be like the word around town, seeing it around town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just, I don't want to make it huge, but stay consistent. And that's what I told a big company here in town, they're like, hey, like I had a good relationship with the owners and they do like senior living stuff. And I'm like, dude, forget the bullshit. I don't want to go through this like page where it's like, you got to quote it and, hope for the best. I said, fuck this. Like I said, you tell me where you need to be. I'll tell you if I can make it happen. And if we can't make it happen, where can we come to this even ground to where it makes sense for you, makes sense for me?
Yeah.
And I said, I want to be your guy. I'm not trying to make a bajillion bucks at this. I want to grow it, but stay consistent.
Yeah.
And then I'm in a really big brokerage. So now I have that tool where I was offering it to my clients. Now I can offer it to other realtors' clients.
Yeah.
And then my dad's a plumber. So I'm going to start a plumbing company. I'm going to do the same shit. And then now I just need an admin.
That's it. I got to talk you into getting a personal assistant because I'll tell you, the book Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. If you haven't read that, dude, highly recommend it. Christine's my executive assistant, manages my entire inbox. I am a recovering Gmail app addict to where, I would just be like on my phone checking Gmail. And so I did a detox. So I was like, I'm taking email completely off of my phone. And so I handed it completely off to Christine. She filters everything now. She runs my calendar. And so it's like, dude, it's freed me up because Brendan Burchard says that your inbox is a to-do list of everyone but you.
Yeah.
Right. And so like when people are like, how do you start your day? It's like, oh, I wake up, I check my email. It's like the first thing you're doing is going to everybody else's priorities list versus yours. Yeah. And so that's been a huge change for me, a huge help. And you're going to need it, dude. You keep growing these businesses.
I need it. And I know it. So that's where it's like, it's very tough though. I'm like, I didn't have nothing. So it was like I came from just an average family. I didn't have nothing special. Don't know about having an employee. And knowing, I have my own systems that are, unorthodox systems perhaps, but it's like having somebody to be able to teach them those systems and be able to constantly grow.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Like I didn't even focus on real estate this year and I'm still, one of the top guys. And it's like, I need to, this coming year, I was like, I have a lot of big plans. And if I can stay consistent with that, I think who knows what the hell I'll do.
You'll be in a developer game eventually. I see that, dude.
Yeah.
I eventually see you going like,
I want to do everything.
let's build some stuff from the ground up.
I'm itching.
That's all. Like I've always like keep me posted, bro. You find a project because like I've always wanted to do it. I'm just like I don't know, and I don't have the contractors. And like I recently bought this farm. Well, it'll be 2 years in November, but we bought our farm and like we're working on this house, and it's like the contracting world, bro, is like if people would just answer their fucking phone and show up when they say they're going to show up, that's 80% of the battle. Yeah. I was trying to get some windows replaced. 5 different companies. The first 2 never called me back. I was like, hey, I need a quote. They're like, okay, we'll follow up with you to get a time. Never heard from them again. It's like, I'm not going to chase you to give you money, right? The next 2 guys, they came out, actually looked at the property, said, I'll give you a quote. I never got the quote from them. So they wasted their time and my time, right? Yeah. At least the first 2 guys didn't waste their time by not getting back to me, right? Yeah. And then the last dude, he came out and was like, 15 grand. I was like, bro, it's like 4 windows. Like, the fuck are you talking about? And so it's like, it's this weird thing. So then eventually, like, I'm just Bob the Builder, bro. I put my tool belt on. I got all the tools. I'm like, fuck it, I'll take the window out, do it myself, right? Yeah. It's like, don't let the suit fool you. Oh, Coach Carroll can still get dirty. But it's just like, it blows my mind, man, the number of small business owners, especially in the blue collar world, that just are like, I don't know why my business isn't growing. It's like, probably because you don't answer your phone and get back to fucking people. Business is hard, dude. It's like it doesn't matter how much technology or AI happens. Do what you say you're going to do. Show up when you say you're going to show up. Like those old school business principles and philosophies, they're timeless, man. They work forever.
And it's crazy you talk about those old school methods because like my mentor, he's like, Ethan, you are the best at integrating old school and new school. And I'm like, man, it's like the old school method is answer your phone. You cold call, you do postcards, and like the blueprints is there.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that's kind of like becoming the new school thing is like I think AI and social.
Yeah.
And like being able to keep up with that. That's why we hire people like Coach Carroll. This is free advertisement.
Appreciate it. Checks in the mail, Ethan. Checks in the mail. No, it's true though, man. Like I was just telling in the group that we had this morning, the luncheon there that I did. I'm actually working on like a full-blown Coach Carroll AI. I'm waiting for the voice to get back. It still has me. Like I had to do like a bunch of like different like emotions and things on camera, but like it looks just like me. And so it's just now I need the voice piece. Yeah. And when I can do that, then anybody on my team could literally just write out a script. Boom, there it is. And so what we're really excited about is like you're the rarity, right? The guy that can pull out the camera, the guy that can do the McDonald's skit, right? It's like that's the rarity. Most agents are scared to death to get on camera. So I believe if we can come up with a streamlined way to make them an AI avatar that can make videos, then now we're in that next iteration of social media content because it's not just like, hey, it's National Donut Day. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's fucking National Donut Day, but that's Bob, and he's actually like on here. Well, wait a minute. Is that Bob? Is that AI? Right? Made you look. That's all I care about, right? It's just that split second of attention to keep you top of mind aware.
And that's what it is. Like I just enjoy I enjoy the content creation. Yeah. Like I enjoy like getting out there and like doing stuff for my community. Yeah. And like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm a single guy. I have a daughter. I have all this shit that's on my plate. But for some reason, I enjoy this stuff. And it's like, and that like brings me joy because I'm like, I don't want to do the same real estate shit every day and dealing with everybody's problems. Like, I want to be like, what's enjoyable to me? And that's like content creation and like, how can I do this a little bit differently than everybody else? And that's what I was like, I enjoy it. So it's like, how can I keep people like on their toes, like, and do shit that people are like, I can't believe he did that. So
yeah. You guys had to go check his profile. He just showed me one before we hopped on. It was like a little midget, like throwing a javelin, and then it was like an ink pen that came down. It was very funny. So you do a great job with that, man. Andy, where are we at? What's our time mark right now? 38. Okay, I'll make sure we don't go too long. It'll turn into a Joe Rogan episode or something.
Well, dude, we can. I got some good stories if you want to hear those.
Tell me about the worst house you've ever like seen or been in.
Oh, dude, it was one for myself. Shit. We were trying to buy this house in my neighborhood, and it was me and my dad. I just kind of started like I actually bought a house with my dad. He did not know. Don't take this to NAR, but I forged his name on this contract. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy it. My dad's going to buy it. I was like, but we need some money. So I was like, got my dad involved. He was the money in the situation. And I was like, okay, like we're going to do that. We flipped a house, and then it's like, okay, now we got the word out. Now everybody was like, all right, you want to like buy this house? And I'm like, yeah, sure. We go to look at it, and still in the same neighborhood. The guys have been there forever, and they knew like who I was and like what I was doing. But then I'm like, all right, like let me go tour. And they were crazy. Like he had a girlfriend come out of nowhere. She was like yelling at us. And I'm like, Dad, keep her calm. And I'm like walking through this house, and I'm like, they had a curtain over where the kitchen is. So it goes living room, dining room, and then the kitchen in the back. There was like a curtain or something over it, and it was like stapled shut. And I'm like, hang on, like start pulling it off. And dude, the trash was like at least like knee high.
Oh.
And I'm like
some hoarder shit?
Oh, dude. Like it was like it kind of fooled you because you're like, okay, like it's all right. Like it's just a shitty house. And then like you open up that and it was like, oh, what the fuck? It was like, yeah, knee high worth of trash, flies, just like, and it was like, usually you don't breathe when you go in those types of houses. And I like sniffed in, and I was like,
mouth breathing only in those kind of spots, dude.
Yeah. So I literally I almost threw up, and then I was like, okay, like we're done here. Just kidding. We went upstairs, and so then the stairway. So like they only use those front 2 rooms. And it was the stairway was full of trash. And then I'm like, okay, we got to go up there if we're going to buy this. And we go up the top, see a jar about that big, full of needles.
Needles?
Needles. And I was like, what the fuck? We got to get out of here. Yeah. So I'm like, that was by far the worst story. Wow. That was recently. But, hey, can I go pee? Dude, this bourbon and this energy drink went right through me.
We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, and we're back after a brief bathroom break. If you guys are just joining in, no, I'm just joking.
Hey, I'm back. I feel like $1 million.
That's right. That's right. Let's talk about making $1 million, dude. What do you see as like the sweetest hustle? Somebody's like, hey, I don't have any real estate, but I want to get in the real estate game, right? Because like you see all these people on Instagram, it's like, buy my course. I'll teach you how to flip houses or wholesale or all this and that. What's your advice from a realtor's perspective of like somebody that's coming into the real estate game wants to make money?
Okay, so this is a very common question I get, and usually it's, Ethan, I don't have a ton of money. But very interested into the game, and got to hustle. Because like those are like a lot of the key factors, I think. And my best answer is, first, if you haven't bought your first home yet, because that first home, you're using minimum money down. And if you're getting into an area that's like the high rent area, like I bought mine in Germantown. Germantown's a very sought after area. It's so I had minimum money down, and the rent made sense to, hey, I can kind of turn this around very quickly and still rent this thing out. Because you don't have to be there long. Right. So that was one, making sure like your first house is your best investment. And then number 2, so if you already have your first house, then there's going to be the BRRRR method. So the buy, renovate, rehab, rent out, and then redo. Yep. That's going to be your next best, or rent out and then refinance.
Refinance, yep.
So that's going to be your next best method if you just have minimum money into it. And then third is something that I am lacking myself is going to be the hard money access, like that access of it, and understanding the percentages of how those work, because then you can do it with even less money down, and get into it and know that you have your because that's like the big scare I think with a lot of people is going to be, hey, I don't know what the renovation cost is going to be. Well, then you have to have your team. Yeah. So that's like, if you're going to do the hard money route, you either have to know what the hell you're doing. Like my dad's a plumber. God love his soul. He could literally renovate a whole house, but he has no understanding of how much it's going to cost, anything of that nature. So having a hard money person, and understanding like how much your team would charge you to do that project, is another access point where I feel like I'm lacking myself. Because like right now I'm buying all these houses with my own cash, and it's tied up a lot of cash, and then you're sitting there waiting on that project to be done.
Are these on flips?
Yeah, flips. Okay. Like I got 4 going right now, and it was like that's where I'm like, okay, like, dude, like, you got to stop using your own cash, and then you can surge it differently when you're looking at those different methods.
Yeah, because if you can leverage it, you know what I mean? Like, it's instead of buying $100,000 house, you can buy $500,000 houses. 5 $100,000 houses with 20 grand down on each of them, leverage the debt, right? And I think people get it twisted, like with my horror story of like the 5 window guys and like couldn't find anybody. Like, it's not as easy as just like Chip and Joanna Gaines may make it, where it's like, well, let me just call my contractor and like walk through. It's like, hey, I want to take out this window. How much? Oh, that'll be $1,000. Okay, what about this over here? How much? Oh, that'll be $1,500. Like, it takes a while to develop a contractor crew or a relationship with a contractor that you can be able to just walk through a house and be like, hey, how much is that? How much is this? How much? It's like, it's not that to me is probably the most difficult part of flipping. And I've done it all. I've wholesaled houses. I've lost my ass on a wholesale before. I was like, oh, this is a deal. Come to find out, nobody wants to buy a wrecked trailer in Kentucky. It's like I had to learn my lessons there. But like, the wholesaling method is cool. Like the flips are solid. The buy and holds. I personally love Section 8. I know a lot of people hate it. It gets a bad rap, but let me tell y'all, during COVID, Uncle Sam didn't miss a single rent payment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I actually really, really enjoy Section 8s, but you've got to understand how to manage those or have a manager. When you talk about hard money, there may be people listening, Ethan, that don't even know what that means. So let's like take it down a level. Like, what exactly is hard money?
So there's like private money and hard money, and they're very similar in aspects, because private money is usually like a rich guy. So then you would ask DJ for some money.
I knew that was coming.
So you would ask DJ for some money, and then you would base it off of return. Like, typically it's going to be anywhere from, right now, I'd say DJ might charge you 10% if he's your friend.
It's going to be 15 or more.
It's probably going to be 13 to 15% because DJ's like that. No, it's so that's how
hustle's worth it.
Yeah. So that's how private money works, because you're kind of basing it off of, hey, DJ, I have this, you have to purchase this house, and this is going to be the renovation cost. And DJ would then provide you those funds, but then in return, he would charge you those interest rates and probably charge you like a point or two on the loan.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how private money works. But then when you're looking at hard money, they're going to base it off percentages, looking at that, like 75% ARV, I believe, is what a lot of them are charging.
ARV stands for?
After repair value.
Yeah.
And so they're going to be looking at that after repair value, and then they're going to have an appraiser actually still come through that property and see what that ARV would be, to make sure that those hard money people are just like the bank.
Yeah.
Like, assuring their asset is going to be, returned.
Yeah, like if you come to me, if I'm lending hard money and you're like, hey, I need to borrow $50,000 to go buy this house, and after we fix it up, it's going to cost me $40,000 to fix it up, so I'll have 90 in it, but it'll sell for 125. That hard money guy's going to go, okay, well, I'm going to make sure it sells for 125, so that if I give you 50 and 90 days from now you've done racked up a bunch of credit card debt and got no contractors, and all you did was like rip out all the electrical and the drywall, I still got room that I can bring my boys in and fix it, because that's what the hard money guys are going to do. They're going to take that deal from you. Like, that's the clause in that hard money contract. It's like, you don't own this bitch no more. Like, it's ours now, and we're going to finish flipping it. And depending on who you're getting the hard money from, there might be some visits too. Like, it's called hard money for a reason. Like, there's some cats out there.
I work with like a really great group. It's called Annex Capital.
Okay.
Those guys over there, I'm one of their go-to guys when it comes to like the real estate needs, but I've yet to use hard money.
Okay.
So I'm still understanding kind of the concepts of it. So if people do like kind of like, hey, dude, like, you're wrong. Like, that's not the percentages.
Cool. Come on a podcast. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where it's like, look into Annex Capital. They're one of the big guys here in town.
Cool.
And they're lending out money left and right to people. They have so much money. They're wanting to lend more out.
Yeah. There's a ton of cash on the sidelines still, man. Yeah. Like, people don't realize, like, when that money printer during COVID went right, like trillions of dollars, like that shit flooded, man. And a lot of it's still floating out there. A lot of private lending. There's a lot of private lending money out in the marketplace right now. I want to circle back to something, like when you're flipping these houses, are you holding any of them? Like, do you have any rentals, or are you just strictly transactional right now, just flipping everything?
I bought a bunch like 2 years ago, and then this past year it was like not many purchases on the rental side.
Okay.
And I wish I did, because but there was no deals that really made sense.
Yeah.
The deals that made sense was like, you're sitting on potentially making $100,000 on flips, and if you have a partner, 50-50, that's pretty flipping solid in just a couple months. You get to an aspect, though, like we were just talking about, like, Chip and Joanna, they go through here and they can do this or this or this for, certain price points. It really is like when I talk about a team, like you have to have a good realtor. Like and I know everybody thinks I don't do nothing, but it's like, I swear, like having a realtor that understands pricing and what's going on, that was like a really key aspect because I've been in the game. Like I've been in construction my whole life.
Yeah.
So it was like my dad's a plumber. I've been in concrete, like knowing these different avenues of people who are not the highest price, not the lowest price, but good quality workers that show up and do their job.
Yep.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've had trials and errors with a lot of people.
For sure.
But I have a team around me where it's like you can call that realtor who just sold you that property. Now, a lot of wholesalers.
You hooked up when we bought the house in Linden. I was like, dude, it needs a roof. You're like, here's a guy. Boom. Yeah. Like, it's like having those resources are very, very valuable.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people, I think, miss. Their concept of it just isn't there. Like, it's like you have to have a good realtor. You got to have a good lender. You got to have a good hard money person. You got to have a good contractor. Like, I have the people who are really, I'd say the investors I work with have a contractor pretty much on their team where it's like, okay, how much are we looking at here?
Yeah.
And they're like, yep, that's your purchase price. And that's within your due diligence process. So you don't even have to close on the house until you've done your due diligence and understand that contractor is going to come through here, give you a quote, and then hopefully go buy that quote.
Yeah. I had a real estate agent cuss me out one time, this old lady. We were looking at a house in the West End. I put it under contract for full asking price, knowing good damn well I was not going to pay full asking. Right? I just locked it up because it was a good property. Did our due diligence. There was like foundation issues, and then like I wanted like a second opinion. So it was like 3 days before like the contract was up. It like took me a couple of weeks, put it on like a 30-day. And so I was like, hey, we're going to release it. Like, there's things that we found. And she was like, you waited until 3 days before. She's like, you're so unprofessional. You will not be buying real estate in this city very long, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, bitch, this is how this works. Like, it's like her feelings were hurt because she thought like, oh, I got a full asking price done deal. But it's like, it's very common for investors to be like, house hits the market. Oh, I'll give you full ask. That way it's like, oh, sweet. And now they're emotionally like, okay, cool. I got this house thing. And then you come back in, you start, okay, I do my due diligence. I find the repairs. Now we come back and we say, hey, sorry. Like after the inspection, it needs to be X, Y, and Z. That's one of the hustles like I had to learn early on. Was like, because if not, if you're like, oh, this house needs $50,000 worth of work and they got it listed for $150, I'm gonna offer them $100. They're not even gonna hear the order, like the offer, right? So it's like offer them $150 and then come back and say, hey, it's gotta be $100. That's how we bought the farm, dude. I bought the farm 110, I think, off a list, and then Jenkins told you, but like after the refi, it was a double up, so it was like insane, man.
So that's
but
like, you have those deals though. They're like
still
there, and
they're
like,
there.
And it's like I hate that people are like you can only find deals on market or off market.
Off market.
And I'm like, most of my deals, I got like 40 rentals, and I'm like, hey, like they're half of them.
You go borrow money from Ethan, not me then.
I got a few, but it's like that's where it's like half of them are on market, half of them are off market. You have those deals that are sitting, the normalization to the market, they are sitting. So it's like when you have that appealing offer to somebody, it's going to snatch up with somebody. And I'm in the process right now trying to kind of like systematically like make it where it's like, okay, like I'm going to have something going out consistently for my big investors because I know if I bring good deals to these people, there's enough hard money out there. They have enough crews, and I know that I can send them deals.
Yeah.
Instead, let's take the wholesaler out.
Yeah.
The realtor, you spend the money and make it happen, and you're either going to consistently see those units go up. Mm-hmm. You might have some flips on the backside where you're going to get your commission back. But it's like just making sure your investors are happy because like people will be like, you're an investor's realtor. I don't really deal that much with it. I have probably 5 investors that are really out here buying deals.
That's all you need though. If they're actually buying deals, right? Yeah. Like I'd rather have 5 guys that are actually doing deals than a list of 200 that never buys anything.
Yeah,
right?
It's like I got 5 of them and they might all buy 10 deals. That's 50 deals.
Where's that put you? Like volume wise, like that's more than because it's funny. So again, I won't name drop I've done 4 or 5 of these like lunch and learns at different brokerages, and so we go in. They're like, oh, we got 220 some odd real. I'm like, cool. How many did $1 million in volume last year? I'm like, well, $1 million's not a lot. I was like, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 55. I was like, because like a lot of people got. I mean, the number of licenses that have went into escrow, since the market cooled is like insane, right? It's like
it was good for the market, I think, because I'm happy about it.
Oh, I bet it wiped out half your competition.
Yeah, I'm happy about it. I was just like, hey, understanding and just doing things a little, like that's what I said. I'm always about doing things a little bit differently, but I'm spread across the board. Like I do long-term rentals, I do short-term rentals, and keeping up with those rules are a whole nother thing. I know the flip side of it. I'm looking at, I've done new construction. I'm not an expert on the new construction yet, but I can definitely get by with a lot of great builders that I do know.
Yeah.
So that was really great. And I'm becoming versed in a lot of different aspects of it. Development, I've been in different interviews with a lot of developers here in town. Even if they're realtors, I'm like, I want to sit down with you and understand how you got into development. Because that was a thing that always goes through my mind. How did you get into it? Because the infrastructure to it and understanding your competition and being able to go back. There's enough pie for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm going to do things way different. I'm a landlord, and I'm going to do shit way differently than you're going to be a landlord.
Yeah.
And I have to understand that. My plan is going to be
because you called yourself
different.
a landlord. I couldn't tell you the last time I've been in one of my rentals. I got Katie. She's the property manager. Is like, I don't want my phone to ring. If your toilet's leaking, I'm sorry, but like I'm not the guy to call. Like,
because that's what I've been in. I see the property management side. So I'm like, people call me with all the headaches. And I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it. I like people.
You mentioned, though, you said you interview these people. I think that's something like if you're a young cat listening to this podcast right now or watching, use that to your advantage because you're only young for so long, right? Yeah. And in my early 20s, I had this idea of doing this book, and I didn't do it. I wanted to write a book called Breakfast with a Billionaire. Yeah. And my idea was that I wanted to travel all over the country and meet these billionaires and say, hey, I'm 23, I'm 24 years old. Will you have breakfast with me? I'm writing this book. I want to learn like how you became a billionaire, right? Yeah. Every single one of them would have said yes to me, right? And I didn't do it. Yeah. Now that I'm 36 years old, it's like, it doesn't have the pizzazz now that it did when I was in my 20s, right? And so it's like you're 27 still, like you can go hit a developer up that's in their 60s and like, Bob, I'd like to come in and just I'm a young up and coming hustler, dude. Will you tell me how you got in the development game? And like these dudes would love to sit down.
So
it's like
sharing their wisdom.
Yeah, man, because I feel
makes them feel good.
Well, it's seasons, right? Yeah. So your first 20 years is spring. That's when you're planting your seeds. 20 to maybe call it 22 to 40, 45, like that's your summer. You got to tend to your crop, right? And then from 45 to like 65, that's the fall. That's the harvest. That's where you start reaping the benefits of your first 2 seasons in life. But then as you move into winter, that 65 to 85, maybe if you're lucky, you'll have 2 winters, right? If you get close to 100. And those seasons, dude, people just want to give back, bro. Like their plates are full. They're good. Like they just want to help other people if they're people of status. That's why I never bought into the fact of like, oh, rich people are assholes. It's like, well, if they're in their first 2 seasons, because they're trying to get it. Yeah. But you go catch them when they're like their bills are taken care of. Like nobody's happier than the people that don't have to worry about money. Like and they will give back to you. They'll help you. And so I would encourage you if you thought about that, have some balls, reach out to somebody and ask for some help, ask for some insight.
Yeah, that was like a cool thing to hear because it was, I interviewed about 3 different people and just like I was just chopping it with them, and like being able to hear their story and how they started was wild. Yeah. And it was like, as well, like, then you're like, how much money did it take? And you're like, holy shit. Like, I got a long way to go. But it's like, that was like the cool aspect. Because I'm striving to get there to hit that milestone where it's like, okay, now, like, hats off. I mean, like, not trying to toot my own horn. I really am getting close to where I'm like, okay, I'm going to start building my own shit now. Like, forget the renovation side. I've been flipping houses. I flipped a few. And not a ton. I flipped a few. And it's like, all right, like now I think I could probably build a house. And it's like I know the construction, I know the basis of it, where it's like, okay, now let's do it.
Yeah. The beauty on development too is like there's no surprises. Like it's all new. You know what I mean? It's really like it's not like, oh, well, I was coming here to replace the toilet. Now the floor's rotted out. And then you take the subfloor out and you're like, oh, the floor joist is rotted out. I guess we'll replace that too while we're here. It's like, you can kind of uncover a box of worms or
I hear it's easier.
That's why everybody
the new
says.
Construction? Yeah. Everybody says it's easier. So I'm like,
kits, man. Now it's like you can order. I mean, I on the way in this morning, I saw a semi flat. It's like you could tell it was a whole truss kit. Like, I mean, it was all the lumber, the trusses, everything. It's like, drop it off, dude. The framers go to town. Yeah. Hey, they got zip board and all kinds of shit now. Yeah. It's like it's improved a ton. Have you seen the concrete houses?
Yeah,
like the little like the little robots. Like it looks like the thing's just like taking a shit. It's just like shit. I haven't seen it. Is there any in Louisville that you know of? Okay,
no. It's like northeast is where they're at. They're very prominent there.
Okay.
I follow a couple of people who are like very, it's like SQ something.
Okay.
There's like a Facebook page with, or like Instagram that has it.
Okay.
And it's very interesting.
Yeah, Andy, we got to figure out how to get you plugged in on these podcasts so like we can do the Joe Rogan, like you can pull it up and show the clip in real time. Because it is sick. If you guys haven't seen it, go look at it's like 3D printing with concrete, and I mean they literally just like are like printing these walls, man.
But it's cutting cost for them.
Yeah, there's no labor. Like there's one dude watching the robot work.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, okay, this could be huge for like affordability.
Yeah.
Because that's where like I think a lot of conversations need to go to because I'm a huge Louisville fan. And I'm not talking about Louisville Cardinals. I'm talking about Louisville as a city.
Yeah.
Like I think we are like a flipping hidden gem.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's like it's coming.
Yeah. When I travel, like people are like Louisville, right? They either like don't know where it's at, or like I had some friends in town, like clients in town from Kansas City, and they're like, "This is our favorite place to come. We don't want to go to Nashville; it's too commercialized. They'd rather come here, do some bourbon, and like have a smaller feel to it, a smaller vibe."
It's cool. Like I've traveled the last 3 weeks. I've barely traveled. I've barely traveled my whole 6 years in real estate. In the past 3 weekends, I've been gone like every weekend. Doing different things, very like quick trips. I'm like I fly out Saturday morning, I come back Sunday evening, and just experience it. And I'm so happy every time I come back here. And I'm like, this place is flipping awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I went to like, I want to get that word out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm such a big fan. Like we have such a cool city. We have such great weather, to be honest. Like we have the seasons, and it's like, yeah, it's hot like in the summer.
But it's not like, Florida hot.
But Florida hot, you couldn't pay my ass to live in Florida. No. I couldn't even afford the insurance down there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you can even get it.
So I feel like Florida's going to, and Florida has, like, I've seen a lot of people moving out of Florida. I moved to Florida when I was 19. It's a very, like, try the city out. It's cool. Live on the beach. Like, a young person, it's going to be great. But it's like, when you're really, like, trying to set up a business and set up your future, you got to get, you can't do it. I mean, like, you really got to be plugged in down there.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be plugged into Miami, California, all those, New York. You really got to be plugged in to, like, I think, really make a name for yourself there. But I don't know.
Talk about the affordability, though, of these concrete houses, because I think, like, one of the things I've wondered is, like, why doesn't anybody build 3-1 ranches anymore? And it's like the margins aren't there. You can't. Like, the labor cost is so high that it's like by the time you pay for the supplies and you build that on that square footage size, it's like you can't make any money. That's at least what the couple of builders that I've talked to have said. It's like,
I mean, they're definitely leaning away from like these ranches on slabs. It feels like basements are a big thing, at least in Louisville, Kentucky, which is, I think, unique when we look at like different cities where it's like they don't believe in basements.
Yeah.
And bigger ranches, I think, with like, maybe no basements might become more of a thing here because of how much it costs just on the foundation purposes there. But it'll be interesting. I think like labor costs is kind of starting to level out. It was like just going through the roof. But now I feel like we're finally kind of plateauing out. So we'll see where the prices continue to go. But I'm seeing new construction. I just sold new construction for $325,000, 1,800 square foot. And like in a great neighborhood that people are like, what? Like people from out of the state, they'll be like, "Oh my god!" Like I haven't. She's on.
And I said because it's like crazy, like coming from Carrollton, but it's like it's like, but yeah, I mean, like go try to buy that house in
anywhere,
St. Louis or Indianapolis, Nashville, even in the Midwest. You know what I mean? Like it's still a hidden gem.
That's why I'm like, that's a great deal. But it was like being a little bit more lenient on neighborhoods is where the affordability I think is going to come into play because of how oversaturated and like built out a lot of these like. Germantown, there's no lots down there. Yeah. Like, we're going to get to a point where it's like they're going to be buying the houses and tearing them down just to build houses.
That's what they do in California.
Yeah. And it's like, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
But it could be if affordability doesn't get a grasp on things. And I think Louisville has that potential, but we're still very undeveloped, I think.
Yeah. The beauty, too, for me at least, was this is why I could go buy a farm, is because I'm still only 32 minutes from here, right? Like the new office that we're in is in downtown Louisville. Like hopefully you guys could see the skyline before it got dark outside. And it's like 30 minutes. Well, in Atlanta, like you go live there, you drive 30 minutes, like you're not even through Atlanta. You're halfway through it, right? Yeah. It's like I can be 2 counties away in Henry County, which I know you're a big fan of. Maybe we could talk about, but it's like you can be 2 counties away, and it's like, I'm beautiful, dude. I got no neighbors. I can shoot guns. I got cows, and then still be back downtown in 30 minutes. So
that was a big thing when I went to Torchbearers this year.
Okay.
So Torchbearers is like top 40 under 40 in the United States.
Wow.
For Remax.
Okay.
So we went out there.
Take that one to the bank.
So that was where I was very consistent with my questions to other agents were, what's your median price? And I will tell you, everybody was $600,000 and $700,000.
Wow.
We're sitting here in Louisville, Kentucky at $300,000. The only other person that was close to our price point was Indiana and West Virginia. Then when I was like, okay, what's your commute? They said, oh, it's an hour everywhere. I said, what the fuck? I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, dude.
I go to an hour is Lexington.
Yeah, right. Halfway across the state.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. So that's where I was like, how good we really got it here. That really put that into transparency for me there. Where I was like, wow, because I hate traffic. I think everybody hates traffic.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's like, oh, no, I like traffic.
Yeah, slow down for me, baby. That's where I'm like, man, I couldn't do the traffic. And then just the affordability here.
Yeah.
And then we are so centrally located next to St. Louis, Indianapolis, Nashville, Cincinnati. We are next to some of the great cities here in the Midwest, and we are less than 2 hours. St. Louis is probably what,
3.5, 4, I think. But it's the furthest one. That's why I always tell people in Louisville, dude. I'm like, I'm 2 hours to Indy. I'm 2 hours to Nashville. Yeah. I'm 2 hours to Cincinnati. Maybe an hour and a half to Cincinnati. I mean, it's beautiful, dude. Yeah. If you want to get somewhere, you can get somewhere.
I think as soon as we get a grasp on our downtown here, making that the priority instead of everything that surrounds it. Yeah. I think Louisville's going to explode.
Well, and again, let's get into that. Go ahead and cancel me, but it's like, I think the Breonna Taylor stuff that happened downtown, it set Louisville back 10 years. COVID was already crushing every downtown because you had restaurants closing because when you take these high rises full of accountants and lawyers and, whatever may have you, and they're not going to lunch every day anymore because they're working from home. Yeah. Like the Chipotle and the Wendy's and the Qdoba downtown, it ain't going to stay open. There's nobody there, right? It was a ghost town. And then on top of that, and a lot of you guys may not, I thought it made national news, but I've traveled around. A lot of people don't even know. They knew the George Floyd stuff, but it just so happened that that happened at the same time. Yeah. The Breonna Taylor riots broke out here in Louisville, and it was people were like, oh shit, don't go downtown, right? Yeah. The good thing was all the cops were downtown, so you could do a $110 on the interstate and didn't have to worry about anything. But the downside of it was there was marches and riots. We had National Guard came in, people got shot. It was a mess, honestly, in our city for a few weeks. And so I think that still lingers because if you get outside, if I go back to Carrollton, right, where I went to high school, people are like, oh, Louisville, you couldn't pay me to go downtown. It's no, it's fine now, bro. It's totally okay. Yeah. I'm not worried we're going to walk into my car tonight, Yeah. But that stigma, I think, kind of sticks, man. And
it has.
And it's hurt. I mean, 4th Street Live, I don't even know if that's still a thing anymore, but that used to be a tourist attraction. And so Eddie Merlot's, they stole $20,000. They smashed a big plate glass window, stole $20,000 worth of wine. Eddie Merlot's we're shutting down. It's damn, I loved me them Eddie taters too, boy. Them cheesy Eddie potatoes.
Dude, I was there was a lot of good things that ended up just really getting hurt on that. And that was just but it took away from how cool our downtown really is. Yeah. We have that Whiskey Row, which is
it's burnt down twice, but
and I'm golly. They got the sidebar there, the Yum Center. What's that little fried chicken joint?
Merle's Whiskey Kitchen, bro. It's so good. It's it's food like Mama Man. No, they make it better than your Mama Man. It's good, man.
So there's a lot of really great restaurants right there, and if we could do something there, I think we need to bring an NFL something stadium,
Gotta have a pro team,
WNBA,
man.
and put it in the West End. Put that in the West End. There's so much undevelopment there. If we can get the money to put some type of sports arena, I mean, we have with the track stadium, but it's like having a sport that a lot of people around here are very interested in. Don't get me wrong. Like, we've had Tyreek Hill there. We've had some really big names just in our West End, which is a developing area every single year.
Where I wouldn't say all of my properties. We probably have a dozen of the 70 outside of there, but the rest of them are all in West End Louisville.
And like it's there's $100 million being put into West Louisville in the next 5 years.
Wow.
So it's like
real cash register on that one.
Yeah. Like, that's like the development that's going to be happening down there is huge.
Yeah.
Now we just have to bring something to that area that is going to attract people from the East End, from Prospect, from Central Louisville, to get them out there. And that's what I heard, like a rumor that a WNBA stadium could be put there. And I was like, even if it is, like, what's going to happen is you're going to put that stadium there, and then investors are definitely going to buy every little house thing, around there to try to bring in some attractions and capitalizing on that.
Yeah. I got a couple of houses around that new track stadium. That was kind of cool.
Dude, that was cool.
The tax bill went up, but the value went up too.
I mean,
so
it was crazy to see that those houses, like, I paid attention because a lot of people heard about it, and they're like, I still have a search to this day that still pops up. It was $50,000 to get a house that's livable down in Louisville. Like 3 years ago, now all those houses are about $150,000 to about $200,000.
Yeah.
And it was very cool to see because, like, the development there, I used to be very involved with, like, the Urban League and different things where I was, like, really paying attention to that West End development. And it, life happens, and I'm like, I can't be as involved anymore. But it was, I'm very interested to see where it could go.
I think it's going to be a tough sell to get people to move out of, like, the East End that are, like, from here to go to the West End. Where I think the West End could develop is the transplants, the people that are moving here. That's like, and again, this is where downtown's got to come back, right? But it's like, I could go live in Lake Forest and it's going to take me 35 minutes. Like, my commute actually sometimes is faster getting here from my farm than it was from Middletown because, like, the traffic's so bad out there. And so, like, I think what's going to happen is, like, if downtown comes back, you could see some, like, transplants moving on because they don't know any different, right? The history, if you guys want to go down a rabbit hole on the redlining of Louisville and, like, what redlining even is, the 9th Street Divide. Like, I didn't know any of this because, like, I'm originally from Indianapolis. And so, like, up there, like, 30th and College and, like, maybe a 5-block radius around it, like, that was the hood. Like, I had buddies that lived there. And, like, I remember Jordan Quarles, like, his brother got shot when we was, like, in 5th grade. And I still remember him, like, going to the guidance counselor and, like, crying for a couple days. It's like, it's just, like, shit that you see, like, in that little pocket. But, like, that was the hood. And it was like, oh, every city's got a hood. Yeah. Like, here, Louisville, dude, the Bankers was just, like, 9th Street and West. Ain't fucking with it. You can't borrow money. Like, I mean, it's crazy. There's a whole rabbit hole you can go down on the internet. But I think what's going to have to happen, these public dollars are coming in, right? These private dollars are coming in. But I think if there was ever a place that you could see a 2-1 there's 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom houses over there, right? It's like, see those torn down, new construction go up, and then somebody that moves in is like, you see, I don't know.
That used to be that was like the poppin' area back in town too. It's like back when Louisville was, like, originally, like, made. That's where everybody was. They're all sitting on the river, like the riverfront right there. The mansions down there are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, like what's that? What's the golf course? What's that?
Shawnee Golf.
Shawnee, Shawnee Parkway or the Eastern Parkway or whatever they call it.
It's a
Southwestern Parkway.
Southeastern Parkway.
Fact check us in the comments.
Yeah, but it's just like Eastern Parkway.
Yes,
it looks exactly like
beautiful big houses down there. Yeah, still a lot of pride, man, in that little pocket right there. There's still,
And don't get me wrong, though. There's a good street. There's a bad street. Good street, bad street.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's still just a long road ahead, but I'm very confident in it. There's just a lot of things that are still moving there. But those are different things where I think, like, very focused on, like, the downtown here in Louisville. And if that happens, the potential here is, I think, unfathomable.
Yeah, I heard. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. We'll pull the Donald Trumps. Like, I heard from somebody. I don't know if it's true or not. Right? It's that the KFC Yum Center was actually built to try to recruit an NBA team, but the athletic director and Patino at the time basically was like not having it. They're like, because they knew it would, like, crush Louisville basketball, right? And like people that don't know, University of Louisville used to be like a commuter school. Like there wasn't really any athletic program, and so like they worked on that year after year after year, decades, and then so now to think like, oh, this NBA team's going to come in and it's going to squash us. They really fought that, and like I had heard some dealings about there was some dirty like backroom deals done, and it's just crazy. Louisville is so like old money. That there's like now we're gonna be on Brown Foreman hit list, bro. You just had a name drop. I said we're not gonna name drop. Look, here we go. So much for getting Woodford to sponsor the podcast. Shit.
Hey, Andy, cut that.
Yeah, right. But I think with understanding like how Louisville works, man, there was a lot of old families for a long time that like just kept their thumb on it. It was like, we didn't want this to change. And I saw that growing up in Carrollton. Like, it was like that, they didn't want to. A lot of people don't know this. Hartsfield-Jackson Airport, Atlanta Airport, was supposed to be built in Shelbyville. Literally, the guy at Hartsfield-Jackson, whoever the hell that guy is, was like, hey, I want to build an airport. This is perfect. It's right in between Louisville and Lexington. Like, we could build this. It could be a mecca. It could be a hub. Yeah. And some old money families was like, nah, we don't want it. Yeah. And so then he goes to Atlanta, and it's the largest Delta hub in the world, right? One of the biggest airports in the U.S. So it's like could have been right here in our backyard. Yeah, crazy, man.
There's like a lot of cool shit that could have happened here. It feels like we're like that close, and then it just ends up like shit.
maybe that's what's kept it small and quaint, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's like we get that good like small town, big town feel here still, but yeah, people hate change here.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's in the South, but. Well, let's wrap this thing up, man. How can people find you? You gave the shout out on the Instagram earlier, but say there's a young hustler out there. It's like, man, I'd really like to maybe have Ethan as a mentor or something. It's like
just flip and call me 502-558-8193.
I love it, man. I love it.
Call me, text me, I'll answer.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it, dude. It's been a good podcast, and we'll definitely have to do this again. So, any more drinks, more bathroom breaks. Cool, guys. Well, if you made it this late in the episode, I appreciate you guys hanging around with us. Make sure you smash the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, leave a review. It helps us get in front of more people so we can get the message out. And until next time, hustle. It's worth it.